Greetings, ChesCo Gridiron Insiders, family and friends, and welcome to Episode 8, Week 7 show. Pete and myself will bring you the highlights of 6 ChesCo Gridiron games from last Friday that includes one giant upset and some major shakeups in the 5A playoff seedings. Coach Wolf and Coach Milano will break down our games of the week in the Northern Division. Finally, predictions for all Gridiron matchups this week. Here we go, but first, a word from our sponsors at Studio One in Downingtown.
Highlights of this week's games are brought to you by Studio One, the home of ChesCo Gridiron Insiders for our inaugural season. Studio One also houses Sports Vault. Sports Vault is your premium provider of sports-related autographed and non-autographed merchandise. Sports Vault is the leader in licensed sports memorabilia, novelties, trading cards, and custom framing. Sports Vault is located at 520 East Lancaster Avenue in Downingtown, Pennsylvania. We are always looking to add sponsorship and join our family here at ChesCo Gridiron Insiders. This week, we are adding a Player of the Week segment, and pretty soon we may add an Upset of the Week that you can sponsor. Just send an email to and we can set you up with the sponsorship package of your choice.
We begin our show in Coatesville, where the undefeated Red Raiders host the 4-2 Westchester Henderson Warriors. The first offensive snap of the game, running back Andre Watson Jr. takes this outside zone handoff 69 yards to the house as Terry Wiggins seals the edge for him. Man, he can fly. Coatesville's up 6-0 with 11:25 left in the first. Henderson's first offensive possession, and Warrior quarterback Jackson Cherub pass is well defended by senior corner Quan James. Watch Quan break on this ball, and then he gets it out of the receiver's hand. Coatesville's next offensive possession, and Matt Ortega Jr. throws a slot post to Penn State commit Terry Wiggins, who high points this catch nicely for 6 more points. And the Red Raiders take a 13-0 lead with 5:44 in the first. All right, end of first quarter action. Henderson driving, but it's 4th and 22. And Jackson Cherub gets flushed out of the pocket, and he's sacked and stripped by, you guessed it, Terry Wiggins. Cherub was under duress most of the evening by the Coatesville defense. All right, mid-second quarter, and Ortega Jr. is going to go up top here to Lawrence Beckett Jr. on this post wheel route for 73 yards, and he takes it all the way to the Henderson 12. And on the next play, another sophomore running back, Sage Bradshaw, takes this inside zone 12 yards, and Coatesville leads 20-0 with 5:51 remaining in the second quarter. Moving ahead to third quarter action, Coatesville driving again, and Ortega pulls the zone read this time and options it to Quan James. Coatesville is going to take this in from 10 yards out. Probably not exactly the way they drew it up, but Coatesville will cruise past Henderson for the victory, 33-0. So our next stop on our tour, Red Hot Bishop Shanahan travels to the struggling Sun Valley Vanguards. In first quarter action, Sun Valley is punting from their own end zone from about 6 yards deep, and not really sure who thought this one up, but yes, disaster strikes. Looks like senior linebacker Nate Bratton blocks the punt, and number 44 Brian Whalen recovers it for the touchdown. Still first quarter action, and on 3rd and 7, quarterback Anthony Aquila finds his best friend, Aiden Civitella, for 54 yards on this well-executed fade route. Shanahan goes up 14-0. Moving to second quarter action, the Eagles now leading 21-0, and Nate Bracken takes this wing counter 15 yards and barrels into the end zone. And the route is on. Bishop Shanahan moves to 6-1 by beating Sun Valley 41-7. Shanahan will host Downingtown West next Friday, as one of our co-games of the week. All right, we travel to Kottmeyer Stadium, where Downingtown West hosts Great Valley. The heavily favored Whippets did what they were expected to do against the visiting Patriots. Here, with Amari Cannon out this week, Jacob Barry proved to be a very reliable replacement. Here he sets the tone for a day with a powerful early run. A few plays later, on 3rd and short, TJ Sinkus, as the Wildcat quarterback, executes a perfect jet read play by giving the ball to Brendan Good Kimball behind blocks by McCombsey and Weller to start the scoring, and the Whippets lead 7-0. Owen Dixon later joins in on the fun on this short power run to make the score 14-0 Downingtown East. All right, so down 17-0, but still competing. Great Valley finds number 1 for a 20-yard gain. And 2 plays later, the quarterback sprints out to the left and finds number 1 again for another 20-yard gain. Nice catch and run there. But unable to successfully run the ball, Great Valley continued to throw, but this time Zach Cotine intercepts for the Whippets. A few plays later, the Whippets scored again on a naked bootleg when Cole Bricker finds J.D. Weller in the corner of the end zone to make the score Downingtown West 24, Great Valley nothing. That reminds me of the great Bricker passes to Weller last year. Looks like they're maybe starting to get on a roll again. The Whippets continued to pile on as Jacob Barry scores again as he goes in untouched from the 4-yard line here to make the score Whippets 31, Patriots nothing. On the next possession, Great Valley takes a shot on 2nd and 1, but Ryan Shoemaker steps in front of another Great Valley pass and intercepts it, setting up the Whippets' final score. When Barry again bullies in from the 5 to make the score Downingtown West 38, Great Valley nothing. Great Valley would later score in the 4th quarter against the younger Whippets, and the game ended in a 38-7 Whippet victory. All right, we head to Westchester Ruston. Okay, and the first big play of the game is made by Ruston tailback Zach Impriano as he takes this rocket toss and he goes down the Ruston sideline for a 34-yard gain. This is a nice block there, kicks out the corner, and he gets down the sideline into Downingtown East territory. QB Max Blaine caps off this drive. This is the first play of the second quarter with a play-action pass to tight end Luke Matthias for a 5-yard touchdown. And Ruston takes a second quarter lead, 7-0 over the Cougars. Down 10-0 and near the end of the second quarter, the Cougars are driving. But Ruston defensive lineman Nicky Santangelo, who had a heck of a night, tips this Ethan Ellis pass, and fellow defensive lineman Khalif Cunningham makes the interception to stop the East drive. So moving on to the second half, this is the first snap of the second half, and Downingtown East star running back Jules Chiron Robinson, he's going to race 75 yards to get the Cougars on the board. He's out. No one's going to catch him. So Ruston now leads 10-7. Cougar cornerback Luther Siwa had a big game for East. Down playing near the line of scrimmage because of the Ruston offense. Okay, most of the night. Siwa made several big tackles, like this one, for a Ruston loss. Downingtown East gets the ball back, and Shuron Robinson finds the end zone again, this time from 16 yards out, and the Cougars take their first and only lead of the evening, 14-10. It's a great piece of blocking by the Cougar left offensive line. They did a nice job there. However, the game changed on this muffed punt and recovery, and it sets up Ruston deep in Downingtown East territory at the Cougar 5-yard line. They would go on to score 3 plays later and retake the lead 17-14. A bad punt sets up the Knights again on the Cougar 30-yard line, and they would grind the ball into the end zone as fullback Will Garner scores to put Ruston up 24-14. Will is our spotlight player of the week this week. He powers it in. And then finally, with 2:44 left in the fourth quarter, the Ruston defense ices the game. As Santangelo again comes up big, he already has a blocked punt and a deflected pass for an interception. This time he intercepts his own pass. And he's going to take it in for the score. Westchester Ruston defeats Downingtown East 31-14. Our next stop is at Unionville, where Avongrove visits their Southern Division rival. We pick the action up at the beginning of the first quarter. Avongrove on the move, running their traditional buck sweep, and senior running back Jose Sebastro goes 24 yards to the Longhorn 34-yard line. The drive stalls, however, and Unionville uses this unbalanced end-over formation and drives right down the field with Brody McLaughlin running jet sweeps and quarterback Matt McGinnis running this draw. And Unionville winds up drawing first blood, 7-0. Moving to second quarter action, QB Tommy McGinnis is stripped of the ball by number 6 Dominic Harriott, and sophomore Jacob Scheppelman recovers for the Red Devils. Later on the drive, on 2nd and 10, Coach Coffey calls a counter crisscross to Alexander Binstead, who takes it 27 yards, and we're all knotted up at 7, with 2:29 left to play in the first half. The Red Devils have the ball back and are driving again, and they go back to their bread and butter as Jose Sebastro goes 17 yards, and Avongrove has a 14-7 halftime lead. All right, picking up action midway through the third quarter, Unionville has a 3rd and 7, and Tommy McGinnis does what he does best and creates offense on this QB power. And 2 plays later, Unionville ties the game on this 19-yard cutback zone by number 24, who's filling in for Brody McLaughlin, who injured his ankle in the game. Nice run. Still third quarter action, and Unionville driving, and McGinnis finds his favorite receiver, Drew Pulio, to keep the drive alive. I had to put this one in there for my good buddy Nate. Loves Pulio. Great pitch and catch. And to start the fourth, it's McGinnis in from the 7, and the Longhorns take a 21-14 lead. Okay, there's a QB draw again, and Avengrove struggles to contain on the edge. On Avengrove's next possession, Jose Sebastro goes 23 yards, and the Red Devils are looking to tie things up. Man, he's running hard the last couple of weeks. He's one shoestring tackle away from taking it to the house. However, on fourth down, senior co-captain number 52, Reed Cassidy, steps in front of this Nick Walraven pass and returns it to the Red Devil 35-yard line. It's a nice return there, too. Wonder if Cassidy will be asking for some carries this week. All right, 4 plays later, there's number 24 again, and he bullies his way in from the 1-yard line, and Unionville leads 28-14 with 6:12 left to play in the fourth quarter. After a nice return by Avengrove, they go back to the counter crisscross, and Alexander Binstead doesn't disappoint with this 37-yard gain. And he almost takes it to the house and gets tripped up there at the end. Great run. 2 plays later, Sebastro pounds it in from the 3, and it's Unionville 28, Avengrove 21, with 5:05 left to play. McGinnis keeps this power read and goes 38 yards, and Unionville is in business in Red Devil territory. Great run. On 4th and 5, Coach Murphy calls on kicker Keaveney to all but put the game away with this 43-yard kick. But his kick hits the upright and bounces into the end zone, and Avengrove still has life. On their next possession, Avengrove substitutes quarterback Nate Mortar, and he goes right to the air and hits number 20, Joe DeCrecchio, on this flood route for a first down. And on the very next play, Mortar drops this dime to tight end Dylan Loganelli with 2 Longhorn defenders hanging all over him. Laganelli. The Red Devil ball is on the goal line with 36 seconds remaining. Coach Coffey decides to go jumbo package, and he calls on Alexander Benstead one more time. And he's going to power it in from the 1. And with 33 seconds remaining, the Red Devils trail by 1. They elect to go for 2. And it's Binstead again in the Wildcat heavy package. But this time he runs a sweep around the right edge. And he's in. And Avengrove takes a 29-28 lead. Wow, what a wild fourth quarter. I mean, I guess I've seen Unionville play a bunch of times, and that's what happens. All right. With typical Tommy McGinnis magic and some magic from the clock operator at 17 seconds, the Longhorns have one last heave into the end zone for Hayden Winterburn, but the ball appears to be knocked out of his hand, and the Red Devils prevail 29-28. So we move to the game of the week, where Westchester East visits Oxford. The Vikings on their first drive shift to an empty formation. And Logan Cummings finds junior Chase Golden in the middle of a zone as he goes 32 yards to the Hornets' 28-yard line. Nice catch and run. Logan Cummings has really been on a roll the last 3 or 4 weeks. 3 plays later, Cummings waggles out of the pocket and finds tight end Jack Anderson wide open, and he walks into the end zone for the score. 7-0 Vikes. Let's move to second quarter action, and it's 3rd and 12. And this pre-snap motion seems to confuse Oxford. And Matt Kendrow is wide open on this 70-yard skinny post, and the Vikings now jump out to a 13-0 lead. Oxford puts together a drive on their next possession, and QB Nolan Neske hits Jake Patterson on this bubble screen, and he takes it inside the Viking 20-yard line. 6 plays later, Joel McLean plows in from the 2-yard line, but the PA try was unsuccessful, so the Vikings have a 13-6 lead as we go into the halftime break. And now on the first play from scrimmage in the third quarter, Kyle Keefe sticks running back Joel McLean, and he coughs it up. Tough break there. Westchester East looks to capitalize, but on 4th and 16, Jalen McLean breaks up this Cummings pass, and Oxford takes over on downs. And 4 plays later, senior Joel McLean takes this one 37 yards, and the Hornets decide to go for 2. Joel McLean is in the Wildcat Core B formation, and he powers it in and takes Oxford to a 14-13 lead. But in the third, Oxford isn't done. They elect to kick this onside kick, and Jalen McLean chases this one down at the Vikings' 28-yard line. Three plays later, Jalen McLean takes this reverse counter 19 yards, and all of a sudden, it's Oxford 21, Westchester East 13. Still in the third, Westchester East driving again, and Logan Cummings waggles again and finds tight end Jake Anderson again. Two plays later, Cummings scrambles to his left, and there's no defensive containment. And he gets around the corner here, and he pulls Westchester East to within 2. The Vikings also elect to go for 2. And this time, running back Chase Zolotz runs an arrow pattern, vintage Downingtown West Mike Milano style, and he scores easily to nod at the score at 21. The next Vikings possession, Cummings is picked off in the end zone by a diving Patterson. Oxford Nolan's Neske finds Jake Patterson on this RPO, and the Hornets are in business. Chase Zolotz running down Patterson, or else that would have been a score and Oxford would have taken the lead. And then it's 4th and 3, and Jake Patterson takes a jet sweep and makes an unbelievable effort, diving for this first down. But he comes up inches short, and the Vikings take over on downs. And on 3rd and 9, Logan Cummings is going to find Matt Kendra again on a post for 69 yards, and the Vikings chase Zalazzi. He's going to take this next play here. He's going to punch it in the end zone. And the Vikings have a 28-21 lead with a little more than 3 minutes left to play. With Oxford driving and on 4th and 7, quarterback Nate Neske is sacked, and that will make Westchester East Vikings victorious by a score of 28-21.
Rocky, rocky, rocky. Red 83. Rocky, rocky, rocky.
This is EJ Moyer filling in for Pete DiGiovanni. He's out on assignment now, so he won't be able to make the interview. But I'll interview our Spotlight Player of the Week, Ruston Senior, Will Garner. Will, first of all, congratulations on the big win. It really helped, Ruston in the 5A move up the 5A standings for playoffs, which is great to see. And, it's just first of all, it's great to see that you're back and it looks like at 100%. And it gives, not only Ruston, but everybody else that's a football fan an opportunity to see, a really good player play. So, that's what I'm excited. We get to see on film every week. First question. With all close games you guys have been in so far this year, does it help the team going down the stretch?
Yeah, definitely.
So, you feel like the schedule's really challenged you, so you guys will be ready. Now that you see your league play, really, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's good stuff. All right. Will the win over 6A Power, Downingtown East, and team's performance against Downingtown West give you guys momentum?
Oh, definitely. Being a big school like that is awesome. It's gonna really motivates us a lot, and definitely helps us a lot.
Even the PJP game, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, I could see them winning their 4A district, right? And Downingtown West, obviously defending district champs, and you guys went toe-to-toe with all those teams.
Right.
Even though you lost, 33 seniors last year, right?
Yeah, right.
I mean, you guys are still playing, really.
Oh, yeah, we're still in good shape. We're still legit. We're still a legit team.
Just stay healthy. Absolutely. What personality does the Ruston team have, and what is the Ruston way Coach St. Clair talks about?
Just we're a bunch of tough guys. That's really what Ruston all is. We all might not be the biggest, might not be the strongest, but we got heart, and we're ready to take a hit, and we're pretty tough. Just
like your Coach St. Clair, tough guy, right? Yep.
Yeah.
What team gave you your toughest game, do you think? I mean, we obviously mentioned 3 of them, and then add Unionville. I was at that game. That was such a great game to be a part of.
I would probably say Unionville was a crazy game. Yeah, because I would say Unionville's up there. I thought we were gonna lose that, but Jimmy Bolin came in clutch with that touchdown.
Yeah, it might be the run of the year. I mean, holy smokes. And it was I thought it was a great play call too. You know what I mean? That was
definitely.
It was like a buck sweep, but you had the back up leading, which was able to block the backer. I really like I said, I really thought it was a great play call.
Yeah, definitely.
Why the Air Force Academy next year? What attracted you to a service academy?
My grandfather was in Vietnam, and I always wanted to continue his legacy with the military, and I really want to serve my country.
That's great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mean but I mean, we really, being older now, I really feel like we need more young men like you. You know what I mean? That feel that dedicated, to serve the country. So thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm extremely excited for it.
Man, you get through the Air Force Academy, you're going to be set for life, son. So congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Is this Ruston team built for a deep playoff run?
Definitely. I think we could do the championship again. I think we really can.
All right. So those were Pete DiGiovanni's questions. If you have one more time to answer one of my own, I'm just interested, for people out there, since football and a lot of other sports that everybody plays are such. What was the toughest challenge coming back from your knee injury?
Nothing really. It was just trying to get my speed back up was a little hard, but I think I'm back to 100% now.
But I mean, mentally, when you're going through it, like, what was, you know what I mean? Like, hey, this really hurts. Is it supposed to hurt this much? Am I ever going to get back to 100%? Did that ever creep in your mind?
Yeah, it was probably like thinking I was going to tear it again. That's what was really scary about it. And that was kind of bothering me.
So, well, appreciate your time, Will. Thank you so much, and good luck for the rest of the season. We want to keep following you guys. I was able to get out to the Chester playoff game last year. I think I stopped by a practice or two too on your way to the District 1 championship. So good luck again. We'd like to see you guys, repeat, and we'll, hope to see you down the road.
Yep. Thank you.
Thanks, pal. Really appreciate it.
All right, we're back breaking down one of our games of the week, Coatesville versus Downingtown East. We're going to take a look at the Downingtown East defense against Ruston from last Friday night's game. Cougar linebackers going to have a big game to stop and slow down the Coatesville run game. On this play, number 24, Alex Rios, does a real nice job. Reads the counter by Ruston and gets in behind it and makes a tackle for loss. So real good job here. Again, you see the guard pulling, the sniffer pulling. Rios just falls in right behind it, chases the play down from behind, and that's what they're going to have to do against Coatesville. You got to stop these Coatesville running backs before they get started. Next play. Coatesville's quarterback, Matt Ortega Jr., real good outside the pocket, making plays with his legs. And Downingtown East is going to have to do something and have a game plan to keep him penned in the pocket. On this play, Ruston's just running a waggle here, and the quarterback breaks contain. And because he breaks contain, he goes for a key first down. It's 3rd and 5, and he breaks contain. And Downingtown East is going to have to be ready for this. There's your waggle action, and he just keeps on moving. He sets up, sees green grass right there. And this kid's a good athlete, Max Blaine. He's not the athlete that Matt Ortega is, though. If Matt Ortega gets outside the way that Blaine does on this, then Downingtown East is going to have a long night. So Downingtown East is going to have a plan to keep Ortega Jr. penned into the pocket. All right, next play. Coatesville's going to try to spread out the Cougars, use their speed and space. Downingtown East is going to have to be disciplined and rally up and tackle. And they do a real good job of this here. Safety Trey Pollock does a good job. They're running, just running a sail concept. They chip this tight end and run him out in the flat on this play. And Pollock does a real good job of getting depth, reading the play. Here's your chip. There's your tight end. So it's just a sail concept with your out, a go, out, and flat. Pollock reads it and gets downhill really quick. So let's take a look at that. There it is. And there's Pollock. Bang. Big tackle. Prevents the first down. And this is what Coatesville is going to want to do. They want to get their speed out in space. So Downingtown East is going to have to match that and tackle up Coatesville. Finally, you got to be disciplined against this Coatesville offense. Okay, got to be disciplined against this Coatesville offense. Downingtown East here, Ruston's going to run a reverse on this, which is something you don't really see out of Ruston. They're more of a ground and pound team. Ruston's going to try to run a reverse, but Luther Sewa does a real nice job. He had a great game Friday night against Ruston, playing up towards the line of scrimmage. And we'll let this play out on the reverse. You'll see the handoff and then the toss right here coming back. And you'll see Sewa recognizes that he doesn't get too far in. He gets outside, maintains his leverage, and he comes up like a missile. And he makes a great open field tackle here on 3rd and 9 what could have been a big play. So Sewa and the rest of that Downingtown defense is going to have to be committed and be careful and be disciplined against this Coatesville offense. Tom Wolf for Chester County Gridiron Insiders, breaking down one of our games of the week this week, Coatesville at Downingtown East. So we're going to take a look at Coatesville's defense here in red against Westchester Henderson last week. Coatesville, they're tough to beat. They got depth, they got size, they got speed. I want to take a look at big number 74 here, C.J. Miller, playing nose guard for Coatesville. What they like to do, they'll rotate him and the other big fella, Max Hiller, at the nose, and they're just looking to wear you out up front. Either one's capable of wrecking the offensive line, collapsing the line of scrimmage, and they both command double teams. So just watching this play through, one thing I'm sure Downingtown East is aware of, and when they game plan, they got a game plan for these big nose tackles. Right here you see Westchester Henderson's going to look to double team this big fella, and he just pushes them aside like they're kindergartners. All right? He gets pressure. Coatesville gets pressure, forces a quick throw, inaccurate. And when you can't run the ball, when you have to run, when you have to throw quick, it really limits your offense. So Downingtown East is going to have to be ready for that. One thing I noticed watching this team, they made a slight adjustment from a couple weeks ago when we featured them in our game of the week against Perk Valley. They moved number 10, Terrence Wiggins, from outside linebacker to inside linebacker. Very good athlete. Recruited, I think he's already committed to Penn State. So he can play just about anywhere on defense. And they moved him inside here. And watch this play. He does a real good job of reading this. Just a straight dive play by Westchester Henderson on 1st and 10. And he just does a good job reading it and filling the hole. Comes in unblocked, basically, and stuffs the play for no gain. So Downingtown East has got to be aware. Wiggins, along with Josh Van Orden, number 52, the other inside linebacker, they both do a real nice job playing defense for Coatesville. On this next play, Henderson's trying to run a middle screen. But the Coatesville defensive line is so quick, and number 52, Josh Van Orden, reads this play so well. What they're trying to do is, they'll flare a guy out here, send some linemen this way, send some linemen this way, send some linemen this way, block here, and they're looking to get the middle screen to this guy down here. But Van Orden reads it really well. And if you look at just these D linemen up here, they just get to it so quick that the Henderson quarterback has to throw the ball away. So let's play this out. There you go. You see the lineman leaving. You see Van Orden right here. He reads the play. He looks it up. He's obviously studied his film. And you may have something here if you get rid of the ball. But there's, Van Orden in the middle right there. Forces the Henderson quarterback. He's just got to lose the ball and avoid pressure. So, again, when you're playing Coatesville, you have to have a good game plan. You got to execute it, and you got to take care of it because they are well schooled and they watch film very well. Last play. One of Downingtown East's big base run plays is a counter try. Coatesville's going to be ready for it. I know Coach Ortega coached against them many times, and he's going to be ready for it. This is Henderson's version of it. They'll pull this guard and pull this sniffer. He's going to look to kick. He's going to look to run through. But, again, Coatesville penetrates so quickly, and they get upfield so fast that there's nowhere for the back to go. So, again, Downingtown East is going to be ready. If they want to run their counter tray, which is one of their base runs, they have to be ready for what Coatesville is going to do. All right, we're back breaking down Downingtown West defense as they prepare for their game of the week against Shanahan. Downingtown West playing Great Valley from Friday night. Third and long for Great Valley here, third and double sticks as we like to call it. West likes to bring pressure up the middle. And in this case, it's number 7, inside linebacker Max Wolfington. It seems like he's been around for about 5 years now. He blitzes from space. And what that means is it doesn't give the offensive line time to recognize that he's not walked up, he's not sugaring or walking up in there. He just blitzes from his spot 4 yards deep. And you can see it confuses Great Valley's left tackle. He's not sure whether to block him or to block the DN going outside. And it causes a high throw, a missed throw by the Great Valley quarterback. And we're looking for this. This is a good way that Downingtown West can disrupt the potent Shanahan passing attack. So you see, Wolfington just comes from space. Tackle sees him, but knows he's got a block outside. Gives Wolfington free release, and this leads to a high throw, bad throw. Next clip. Spotlight on West defensive end number 67. Number 67, Kyle Markley. We've talked about the other defensive end, TJ Sinkus, but this Kyle Markley kid, he's pretty good in his own right. He just bull rushes the Great Valley left tackle here and makes a tackle for loss. So we'll let this play through. And Shanahan's got to be very aware of both of these defensive ends. Here's Markley just running over that left tackle, making a big tackle for loss. So again, Shanahan's better be ready for both those defensive ends. Next clip, we're going to look at the other inside linebacker, number 22, Brian Carter. Brian Carter does a good job on this play. Wolfington's going to blitz again, and now Carter's responsible for this side of the flat, all the way out here. So this is a pass play by Great Valley. This kid kind of sniffs out and gets into the flat and makes the catch, but Carter does a great job knowing his responsibility and getting to that flat and making the tackle, again on 3rd and long, stopping the first down. So we'll let this run. Here's the blitz, and there goes Carter. He sees flat, ball's complete. Nice pursuit angle, nice roll tackle, 4th down. Good job by Brian Carter. Last play. This time Carter comes from the inside, and outside linebacker Owen Dixon also comes here, and there's Carter there. All right, and Wolfington, he's the one in coverage this time, and he just stays in his ground. They run a little tight end delay or a little wing delay, and he just, again, it's 3rd and long, and West just does a good job, good fundamental football, stopping the tackle for minimal gain, and the punt team has to come on. You see the blitz there by Carter and Dixon. Wolfington just going to play his hook curl flat, hook curl zone. There's your delay. And Wolfington's right there to gobble him up, make the tackle. 4th down. So you can see Downingtown West, both their inside linebackers or outside linebackers come. They can all cover. They can all blitz. So Shanahan's going to have to be aware of that and be ready for that Friday night.
Hey, another big game this week in the Chesmont League is going to be Downingtown West traveling to Shanahan. Let's take a minute here and take a look at the Shanahan offense and what the Whippets are going to need to deal with. With Shanahan, almost everything starts with jet motion or motion across the formation, typically motion to trips. Here we're going to get a jet sweep play, and we're going to get motion across. And to get jet sweep, we're going to need to get the edge blocked. And what happens here is Big Mike Cleary and number 4, Owen McGrory, do a great job of setting the edge, which allows the fullback, 33, Nate Bracken, to insert with a stalk block from the split end out here, and they get a real positive jet sweep play. So again, typically everything starts with motion to trips, or they align in trips. Here, as soon as you can see the back, these guys have set the edge, right? They got the edge set. McGrory's got it set. Big Mike's got it set. We got the fullback coming in the alley to pick up the linebacker, scrape, and that's a great-looking jet sweep play. So the Whippets will need to be able to set the edge to defend that type of play from Shanahan this week. Later, we get the same formation except to the field now. The field's the other way. We're going to get motion across. And we're going to get, we've talked about this counterplay for a long time. We're going to get two pullers coming back. So we got motion to trips, and we got a guard trap, and we got a tackle insert, and we got a great looking run play coming back away from that same action. And this time it's Nate Bracken with the ball. Again, so jet sweep, jet counter. They can also run this same scheme with quarterback counter coming back. So they're real proficient at running with that jet motion to trips. As with all these good teams in the league this year, they're also very able to throw the ball. Here we see them in a 3-by-1 formation with their best receiver, Civitella, isolated on the backside. We've got a one high safety. We've got a single safety. And you can see the other safeties rock down. So right now, Anthony Aquila knows he's got one-on-one with press coverage, and he's not going to hesitate to go to his best kid, who makes a great move back here. You'll see him dip inside, corner flips his hips inside. Aiden beats him outside, and that's pitch and catch for a touchdown. Again, well executed. So right now he knows he's not going to read the concept side. He's going to go one-on-one. He's got press coverage on the backside, and he takes it. Explosive. Very explosive football team. Here we'll take a look a little later. We get the same formation, and we'll take a look at the nuances in the defense. Now we're going to have a two-high look. You can see the safety's no longer in the middle of the field. He's over the top, so they're giving the corner help. So right now Anthony knows he's going to read the concept side up here. And this concept actually turns out to be what I call a slide concept. We're going to get a deep slant. We're going to get a shallow slant. And we're going to get an arrow route, and he's going to read it out best available. Typically, it's read inside out. He also has the corner off now, so there's no way that ball's coming here. We got off corner, and we got a help safety. And you can see the safety up top's actually in a backpedal mode. He reads it out, takes the flat ball, and it's an 11-yard gain. Again, just smart football. No press coverage. Got safety help over the top of your best kid. Let's throw it the other way. Again, Shanahan, very effective. They can be explosive. They can play short underneath. It's going to be a real challenge for the Whippets this week.
Rocky, Rocky, Rocky. Red 83. Rocky.
We're back with the predictions segment of our show. For the prediction segment of our show is brought to you by Professional Mortgage Advisors. They are known for their experience, knowledge, and trust. They help guide you through all your mortgage needs and find the product that best suits you. Call 484-445-4599 for advice with any type of mortgage. All right, here we go. Predictions. This is a big week. All the leagues are the South and North and the Central are going full steam ahead. So let's get started. We have two games that all of us we thought that we had the same team pick. So Ruston at Great Valley. We all felt that Ruston should be able to run the ball against Great Valley and, be able to win the game. So we have those. And then Malvern plays Germantown Academy. According to our power rankings, if you want to check them out on X, they just dropped on Monday. Malvern is still at the top. They lost a close game to LaSalle. And LaSalle, if you just watched, beat up St. Joe's Prep down at Penn on Saturday night. So Malvern is showing that they are one of the best teams in the state. We think they'll be able to handle Germantown Academy. All right, let's start off. Let's go to the South. We have Avongrove at Oxford. So Oxford's home again. They have Avongrove. Nate, why don't we start with you?
Yeah, a heck of a win for Avongrove last week. Jose Sebastro, big game. Last two games, even against Coatesville, had 91 yards. Got 246 yards the last two games. That's been the key to Avongrove's success lately. Riding a real high. Obviously, Oxford, two tough losses in a row. Need to bounce back, obviously, for playoff standings. But obviously, that division's wide open now that Avongrove took out Unionville. I'm going to stick with Oxford this week. I think they're going to finally squeeze out a close one. They got to get one of these close ones. I think they're going to do it this week and kind of maybe take control of that division.
I talked to Coach Coffey on, I think it was Saturday. And dude, I just watching the film. Sebastian looks like he's running harder, like he's just running, with a mission. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to carry people, and I really like to see that. I was, wow, they did a great job of running the ball against Unionville, and I this is going to be a really good game. I also will stick with Oxford, but I think it's going to be close. I really do. This is a game, that I would definitely want to see. I mean, this could be a game of the week for us. Coach
You said
Milano,
McLean got hurt last week too, right? So that's a wrinkle in the story too.
yeah. Thanks for bringing that up. Joe McLean did get injured. Jalen, my fault, Jalen. But his status is unknown. We're not sure whether he'll play or whether he won't. It seemed like an ankle. Okay, Mike, what do you think?
Yeah.
Coach Milano, we lost you. Volume wise.
I'm not sure what to do here.
Now we got you. We good.
You got me back.
Yep.
Yeah, neighboring schools. These games are always going to be emotional. Be a little more stout than pros. So I'm going to pick Oxford.
Got Oxford. Okay. Pete.
This is going to be a really close game, I feel like you said, Coach. And I think that Oxford, as Nate alluded to, they lost two tough ones. I think they're going to be on the winning side this time. I think they control Sebastro enough, try to have Avangro beat them through the air. Joel McLean is fine. I think he goes over 100 yards. I like Oxford.
Yeah. Also, Coach Wolf has Oxford as well. But in discussing with him, this is a pick 'em, guys. Even though we all picked Oxford, Avongrove wins this game, and they're technically playing for the title. Possibly in that one of those last weeks, right? Everybody almost had one loss except for Kennett. All right, Downingtown West at Shanahan. We all remember what happened last year at Downingtown West at Kottmeyer, and lo and behold, Coach Wolf. He's calling for it again. So he's taking Shanahan to win this game. He says, I agree with him. I think Shanahan's going to be able to throw the ball. Like, this could be a shootout. But for I just think Downingtown West's best defense, even though they have a really good defense, is going to run the ball. Like, if you have the ball in your hand and the other team doesn't have the ball in their hand, it's tougher for them to score. I think Downingtown West is going to control the clock. I think that's what the game plan will be, because I'm not sure Shanahan can stop them on the ground. Coach Wolf, he took Shanahan. Pete, what do you think?
Well, you got the Downingtown West running game. I think is going to give Shanahan trouble, and I think it's going to keep the Eagles off the field. You got Amari Cannon should be back in the lineup. He's got 873 yards and 10 touchdowns already this year. I just keep waiting for Downingtown West to get it together and maybe look like last year's team. And I think we're going to see it Friday night.
I saw some new Coach Milano. We'll go to you next because maybe you can. Obviously, I know you watched the film. It looked like some new wrinkles in there in the running game. There's some what do they call them? Whams.
Yeah.
Two back whams. I kind of like that. That's a different wrinkle.
Yep. Depending on.
You want to go get me?
I'm going to. Sorry. Now, last year, one that was just.
Here, hold that thought, Coach. We're gonna bring you back in here. I think you're down at Citizens Bank Park. I think we're having a hard time hearing you. Now you can't get up. Nate, let's go to you first, and then we'll go back to Coach.
Yeah, I think someone mentioned Shanahan being able to throw the ball on West. Obviously, Anthony Aquila, 652 passing yards this year. I think they're a decent passing team. I don't think they're a great passing team, but I think what makes them best is Anthony put the ball in Aquila's hands and just letting him kind of go. He kind of reminds me of Trace McSorley a couple of years ago for Penn State. Just a great athlete, great competitor. Does what he needs to do to get wins, and him and Civitel have been on fire the last few weeks. Downingtown West, major revenge factor from last year. I know Coach Klein loves the us against the world mentality. I'm sure he's going to be firing that up all week. Obviously Cannon needs to run physically this week if he's back. He can't be settling for the first touch contact tackles. He needs to break a couple tackles and break some long runs. I think he can do that. I think Downingtown West can be very motivated, and I think Shanahan's running game is not enough to beat West. So I'm going to go with the Whippets.
Coach Milano, we back?
Yeah. Tell me.
Okay. So you're taking West, but I'd like to hear why, if you can get that in there.
Yeah. I just don't think that has inside. With solid inside. The ball all get
All right, so we got Downingtown. Coach Wolf is the only one taking Shanahan there. Even though, like I said, I can't wait to see that game. That's going to be one of our games of the week. That should be a fun one. All right, Coatesville at Downingtown East, which is actually going to be our second game of the week. We're having technical difficulties here, but we're powering through here. Coach Milano is going to join us, and we don't need to see Coach Milano necessarily, right? But we definitely always want to hear from Coach Milano, however, all right? So we got Coatesville at Downingtown East, which is going to be we have co-games of the week this week. Let's see. Pete, let's start off with you, buddy.
I like Coatesville in this one. I mean, they have too many weapons, I think, for Downingtown East. Matt Ortega Jr. has got 1,368 yards passing, 16 touchdowns, 2 sophomore running backs, Andre Watson Jr., Sage Bradshaw. Downingtown East special teams killed him against Ruston, a block punt, a muff punt, a 4-yard punt. I think it's too much to clean up. I like Coatesville.
Nate.
Yeah, this is obviously didn't get this game last year, got canceled, so a long time coming to see these two back on the field again. I think it's one of the great rivalries around here. It's tough to get a read on Downingtown East. Gave up 253 yards rushing against North Penn, gave up 210 yards against Ruston. Week before that they held Westchester East to negative 39 yards rushing. So kind of depends where that run defense is. I think Coatesville runs the ball really well. I think they're more in the North Penn Ruston category than the Westchester East category. I think it's going to be a big challenge for Downingtown East. And obviously they're going to have to try to hit some big plays in the pass game. That hasn't been a huge part of their game this year. But, obviously they got a home run hitter in Robinson. And the rivalry is always going to keep the game close for the most part, you'd think. So I give Downingtown East certainly a puncher's chance to win this one, but I'm going to go with Coatesville.
Coach Milano.
Yeah, again, it's a huge rivalry. I promise you there's no love lost between the two programs. There's no love lost between the coaches. They've been at it for a long time. A lot of what Nate said I agree with. You guys talked about the stats in the run game, and I think that it's much more like Coatesville's run game is much more like North Penn and Ruston than it is. I guess it was Westchester East, the school that didn't run it so well. I think the Cougars are very one-dimensional on offense right now. They're struggling with pass game. And I got to pick Coatesville. I'm going to pick Coatesville to win this one. They've been exceptional for a while now, and I look for them to have success on Friday night.
Yeah, I think what you're going to see from Downingtown East, I don't think anybody's going to – you're going to see a heavy blitz game. They got to figure out a way to get to Matt Ortega Jr., and if they can do that and disrupt the rhythm. Because right now, Coatesville can hurt you two ways. They can run the ball, and they have a short passing game, which is probably a little bit better, even though they've been able to hit some stalk and goes. They've been able to hit some different, but it's really their quick game and their running game. So I would expect that Downingtown East is going to try and do what they do and really blitz and maybe give Matt Ortega Jr. some happy feet. But in saying that, like, Coach Milano said, the offense from Downingtown East right now is one-dimensional. It's a run game. And, when Coatesville knows that and they just have to stop the run, I mean, they're tough.
Yeah, but
Huh?
Robinson's a home run hitter, coach.
I know, but who's going to catch home run hitters? Coatesville will, right?
Okay.
They got guys that
Okay.
can run him down.
It's kind of bully ball without the bully now.
Bingo,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So, again, a great game. It's a great rivalry. I mean, I love playing one of the Downingtowns at Cotmore. I loved going over. Man, it was so much fun, and it's going to be a great environment, but I'm going to stick with Coatesville right now. All right, let's go. Oh, and I hate to bring too much attention to this, but something I thought I'd never see. If I didn't see this ahead of time, I would have probably fell on the floor right now. Coach Wolf, this is not a misprint. Maybe he is going to take the Red Raiders as well. So it is a clean sweep. Maybe that does something to the Cougars. I don't know. But woo-hoo. All right.
Partisanship.
That's right. Unionville at Kennett. All right. Wow. This is a tremendous game as well. We're not sure the status of Brody McLaughlin. He hurt his ankle on Friday night. Hopefully he plays, but we're not sure if he will. This game's at Kennett. I'll start off with Coach Wolf, took Unionville. Coach Milano.
I used to coach at Unionville before. One of my assistants, Mike Kanji, back in the day, was instrumental in getting football at Kennett. I know what a big game this is in that community. The McLaughlin injury is going to be, to me, the key factor in the outcome of the game. If he's able to play, I think it's a toss-up. If he doesn't play, I like Mike Means' team.
You're on the wrong.
My bad. The Kennett Square. My bad. Mike Means can't coach all those teams down there, can he?
He'll try.
Coach Frazier, I'm so sorry. Coach Frazier's Kennett team, I think, is really solid on both sides of the football. And if McLaughlin doesn't play, I'm going to pick Kennett, and I'm going to have to pick Kennett either way here.
Yeah, I think I'm going to also go with Kennett. I've loved watching Unionville all year. The three-headed monster on offense of Pulio and McLaughlin and McGinnis. That's really fun to watch. But they've been getting banged up, and more importantly, they're really struggling to stop the run. We've kind of been alluding to that all year, and now I'm just flat out saying it. So I'm also going to take Kennett for that.
I'm going to take Kennett also, guys, because I don't think McLaughlin's going to play. I don't know his status, but, ankles are tough. And without McLaughlin, they're not the same team.
Yeah.
Kennett can run the football effectively, and I think that's Unionville's weakness up front. I like Kennett in a close game. As Coach Milano said, this is a real big game. This is like Downingtown East and West down there, ain't it, Coach?
Very similar, yep.
Okay.
Very similar.
I like Kennett.
Nate?
Yeah, I think, like you said, more than McLaughlin's injury, the run defense for Unionville has become the biggest issue. They're up over 200 yards a game, giving up over 200 yards a game right now. If McLaughlin does play, obviously the ankle was bad enough last week that he kept him out the whole game. I'm sure it's not going to be 100%. Kind of like last year, McGinnis missed the game against Kennett, and Kennett was able to win. I think, a little bad luck for Unionville, just the way it timed out. But, and obviously coming off a brutal loss to Avon Grove, just a bummer for Unionville. Looking to get a home playoff game, but I think, all things considered, with the run defense and your best player injured, I'm going to have to go with Kennett.
Okay. Last, but definitely not least, I saved this one for the end because it is a huge rivalry game. We covered it as a game of the week last year, and it's possibly would have been one this year as well. We got Westchester East going to Westchester Henderson. So we'll call it the backyard brawl. I have Coach Wolf taking Westchester East. Nate.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see who Coach Steve Mitten's rooting for this week. Obviously, the defensive coordinator for East right now, just obviously a joke there. But, a lot of family ties, a lot of Westchester ties for this one. It'd be a fun, back and forth. But, Henderson dealing with some injury issues also. Chase Kearney questionable for the game. It's going to be a big blow if he doesn't play. Obviously, they had their chances against Coatesville to score a couple times last week, and it just couldn't finish. Westchester East really showing you something last week with that win over Oxford. I like their grit this year. I think they're tough-minded, and they're winning some of these close games. Academy Park earlier in the year, last week against Oxford, coming back. I just think Westchester East is a little bit more well-rounded, and I think they take this one.
This isn't like a long travel situation for you?
Nope.
Pete?
I like Westchester East in this game. Henderson, they've lost 3 in a row, and turnovers have really killed them. In at least the first 2 of this 3-game losing streak. They can't seem to run the football. I think Chase Zalos is the best player on the field Friday night, and I like Westchester East.
I like Westchester East as well. I was going to bring up the turnover. It seems like for whatever reason, during the 3 losses that Henderson has had, turnovers has really hurt them. And then not being able to run the ball. But the most impressive part to me is, and we do have some phenomenal quarterbacks. I guess Coatesville's putting up some good numbers, but man, oh man, Cummings. I mean, holy smokes, man!
TDs
Did he? Yeah, he threw a couple more touchdowns against Oxford, and the patterns those guys are running between Golden and Kendrow's his number 1 guy, but I mean, they're getting anything they want, anytime they want. So Henderson's going to have to figure out a way to disrupt that offensive flow, that play action pass game, the waggle game, and then just being able to run, the zones that they are. So I'm going to go with East in this heated rivalry. Coach Milano?
Yeah, Westchester East, when it's not a size and speed mismatch, they're really good. And this is not a size and speed mismatch. I don't think so. The cool part, Nate alluded to it, we've got an East quarterback coaching at Henderson, and we got Henderson coaches coaching at East now. We've got a lot of crossover rivalry stuff. I love the East quarterback. I love the Zalos kid also. Henderson's been impressive at times, but I don't think they're. I think they're too one-dimensional to get a win in this game, is what I think. So I'm going to pick Westchester East as well.
Gotcha. And I thought I mentioned it already, but just to make sure, Coach Wolf is also taking Westchester East. So thanks for tuning in. Make sure you get out Friday night. There's so many good games to go to. And don't forget to tune into our ChesCo Gridiron X channel. We'll have some highlights. We'll have some live game footage, and we'll definitely have all the scores coming right at you. So we'll see you Friday at the game.